evening, gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining us for what is going to probably be the single most amazing night in the history of all of our lives ever. How are you guys doing tonight? Let's get our introductions done real quick. You know everybody on panel here. I'm Stanley Orchard. Right over here is John from A&J Outdoors. Then we have Mr. Grant McIntosh down here. Joining us tonight is Mr. Jared Mills. You've probably seen us talking about his the work that he has done with Midwest Whitetails. That's some exciting stuff, and we got some things to talk about that. But we've also got some fun new projects that Mr. Mills is going to be working on. And obviously, we're going to be picking his brain because it's hunting season, and we all have all kinds of things that we want to be talking about with that. So, Mr. Mills, you want to give us a little background on what you do, what got you into the position? Like, how did things get so hard in life that you ended up streaming with us?
Well, first of all, I appreciate you guys having me. I'm looking forward to tonight's conversation. So I've been working, at least in part, in the hunting industry since 2010. So I was getting ready to graduate college. I was going to school down in St. Louis, playing baseball down there, getting ready to graduate. And I reached who had just recently started Midwest Whitetail at the time and inquired about any type of internship position or anything like that. And he didn't really have anything at the time, but invited me to come up and sit down and see if we could create something. So that's where that opportunity was born. And I got hired full-time by him, a few months later and worked doing filming and production work for Midwest Whitetail for a couple of years. I eventually took a role with a company called Muddy Outdoors, doing retail and marketing for them. Did that for a couple of years, and I was getting to the point where, I think a lot of people that want to get in the hunting industry don't think about this, and I certainly didn't. But you start mixing your passion with your career, and it gets a little tricky. It can sometimes rob the fun out of your passion. So I got to the point where I was like, maybe I should just keep hunting as a hobby and pursue a different career. So 2013, I took a job in the pharmaceutical industry and decided to just produce videos on the side as an independent contractor for Midwest Whitetail still. So that kind of the key in this whole story is I never quit producing for Midwest Whitetail. I'd work my full-time job and I'd get home to my apartment and I'd produce Midwest Whitetail videos as an independent contractor. I did that for another 4.5 years. And then I was on the flip side of what I was just talking about. I was tired of not having enough hunting time, right? In the real world, you get 2 weeks of vacation and that's it. And that wasn't enough for me. So I was like, I want to try to figure out how I can get back into the hunting industry full time to spend more time in the woods. And so 2017, I took a role managing Midwest Whitetail. And that's kind of been more or less been my role, managing Midwest Whitetail, managing 41 North as a production company for the past 4 or 5 years. And Midwest Whitetail has been through a number of changes during that time, some acquisitions by some companies and stuff like that. And just recently, I made the difficult decision about 2 months ago to start transitioning out of Midwest Whitetail. And I talk about it. I've obviously told this story a lot over the past couple of months, but people see the end product. They see the produced video, they see the hunts and all that stuff, but you don't see all the behind the scenes, everything it takes to run the company, to manage the people, manage the content, all that type of stuff. It's a grind. There's no doubt. And from just a career perspective, I made the difficult decision just to see if I can create something that just better fits my long-term career goals for myself, my family, that type of stuff. So that's kind of where that decision came from. It's been a difficult few weeks transitioning out. It's been such a big part of my life for 12 years now, the Midwest Whitetail brand, and just being a part of it for so long, makes that a challenge. But at the same time, I'm looking forward to the future and looking forward to seeing what opportunities I can run down and things I can create. And ultimately, my biggest kind of overhanging goal is to do something within the industry, but to have a positive impact on it. I think there are times where the hunting industry gets a bad perception. There's a lot of division within the industry and stuff like that, but I want to be a positive influence and see how I can kind of battle against some of those things. And, at the end of the day, try to create a rewarding career for myself, from scratch. So scary and exciting all at the same time, but I'm looking forward to it. That's kind of where I sit today.
Wow. Drop the mic. All right, everybody. It was a great show. Nice having you all here. We know everything.
Dude,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No kidding on that. And I'm like reading between the lines on all of this. I'm reading like, okay, like you're talking about the work that you did initially with Mr. Winky, and you're talking about the production and stuff like that. So for anybody here who hasn't seen his work with Midwest Whitetails, it is exceptional in the caliber and the quality of the way they put their footage together. It's not YouTube stuff. Like you guys are doing it for TV and it's just ending up on YouTube, however that is. Like you're looking for a Netflix special or something. I know your game because that's the quality of work you guys are putting out there easily. Yeah,
I appreciate it. And I'll just speak for myself. I've always loved the challenge of creating the highest quality video possible because, you think about what we're doing. We're filming hunts, we're filming wild animals, we're working with actors that rarely cooperate. And so it is a challenge and you're in harsh conditions, you're whatever, try to create the highest quality video possible. It's kind of been a side motivator for me. We've always prided ourselves on the quality side, and maybe that's one thing that set us apart. So yeah, I appreciate you mentioning that and taking notice of that for sure.
It's readily, like it was evident right there. Like the very first time I saw like the very first couple of moments of the video, I was like, I'm done. Screw this. I'm out.
Yeah, it's fun. And I don't want to make it sound, I've just explained these changes and stuff. I don't want to make it sound like it's a negative thing. I'm ate up with it. I love the content creation. I love filming, and I, to be honest, I wouldn't care. I appreciate all the views and everything like that. But at the end of the day, the reason I love filming is because I love having it for myself, having it documented to where I can relive those moments anytime I want. Basically, every big deer I've killed, every deer I've killed for the past 12 years, I can literally relive it through the lens of a camera right now. And that's the reason I continue to do it. And I don't think I'll ever step away or not take a camera to the woods with me.
Very cool.
I'm on the same boat with you on that. I'm curious. I have to ask, especially after seeing that very first video that you did on your new channel. And guys, for anybody who is interested in seeing that or jumping on the social media, we've got all the links for everything ever in the description of the video down below. Check that out if you haven't already. So Grant down here is he's our hunting guy. He's our guru for everything that is hunting, as you can see by what's like. There's a wall behind him. You can't even tell by all the trophies he's got hanging up. But I'm curious. I'm not trying to like make this like a contest or anything. I'm curious your biggest buck, and then Grant, I'm curious yours. Where you guys land on that?
Well, my biggest.
Oh, I looked up. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Grant.
I was just gonna say I looked up Jared Mills because I'm sorry I hadn't heard of you. When Stanley's like, "Hey, I want to invite Jared Mills on the show," I was okay. I'll look him up, and the first thing that popped up was pretty sure it was 183-inch buck in 2016.
Yeah, the 2016 would have been 186. Yeah.
He's got 194 too, right? Or is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been, living in Iowa, pretty fortunate, and there's a lot of luck involved in killing big deer too. And I've been pretty lucky over the years as well. So, yeah, the one I recently killed about 2 weeks ago was actually my biggest, the 194. So,
Okay.
He's a pretty awesome deer. But yeah, very very fortunate to live where I do, no doubt.
That video that video just came out, Grant. Sorry about that. Like I didn't give you the heads up on that, but yeah, he just posted that is like the first video on his new channel that he's working on, and he's kicking things off with a 194.
It's all downhill from here.
Exactly right. Good luck copying that. Good luck reproducing it.
Yeah, everyone can unsubscribe now. They saw the mountain
You
peak.
maxed out early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never even had one of mine measured. I don't know. I'd say the one I shot in 2020 was the biggest. In my opinion, he's the biggest. I don't know inches wise.
Yeah, that's awesome. You're
I
in
hate
good
this.
deer country too.
Yeah, I hate this conversation. We
Oh,
have this.
definitely.
It's that time of year, and there's good, good conversations to be had about hunting and everything. But being down here in South Texas, so I don't know if you've ever hunted down like in the vicinity of like King Ranch. The deer that we have here are, I don't even know how to describe. John, how would you describe the micro deer that we produce down here?
They're not very big.
They're
I mean,
very
huge
scrawny.
racks.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Racks. And
Yeah,
then
little bodies.
Pretty small
Yeah.
body. You know?
They're tiny.
Yeah.
Unless
I've
you
never
get on
hunted
the
down
high
that.
places.
I've never hunted down that way. I lived in Austin for 2 years when I was younger.
Ah, nice.
In the 7th and 8th grade, so I wasn't old enough to remember much, but I did do a lot of fishing down there. I was probably more ate up with fishing growing up than I was hunting, until I got bit by the hunting bug. But middle school, even early high school, I still had ambitions of being a professional angler. I was ate up with bass fishing and just loved it. But yeah, then I got bit by the bow hunting bug, and that kind of took over my life.
See, you and Grant's a big bow hunter too. You don't rifle hunt at all. Well, you don't have rifle season there. You got shotgun, but you don't even shotgun hunt, Grant, right?
Right. We've got our shotgun season coming up Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Actually, they passed the law for starting next year. You can use a rifle. It has to be single shot in Illinois.
Okay.
But I don't shotgun hunt. No, both of those over there were shot with the muzzle loader, and I just don't get the same feeling shooting them with the gun as I do with the bow. The excitement's not there for me.
You and I are on the same page there. I just bow hunt pretty much 100%. I don't muzzleloader hunt or shotgun hunt or anything like that. It's just, to me, the chase is so much more fun. And, obviously I have no problems with anyone gun hunting. I think any type of hunting, any type of outdoor activity is awesome. But, that's the beauty of, being able to hunt how you want to hunt. And, I love bow hunting. I love the pursuit.
That goes back to what you said, though. We were talking about the industry, and you could apply that to fishing. There's a lot of outdoor industries where there's some internal fighting, and that's usually what it is, where somebody just wants to dog on someone else even though they're doing something legal, the way they're hunting or fishing, right? Someone's dogging on them about it, and that's what the antis use against all of us. And I agree with you 100%. I might not like the way. I don't like somebody using a trout line or jug fishing, but if it's legal, it's legal, and I'm not going to say nothing about it. Let them do what they do, and hopefully they enjoy it,
Oh man, I adore spearfishing. That is I'm a saltwater guy down here. I very much love spearfishing, and nothing gets under my skin more than seeing somebody else spearfishing. You're covering my turf. This is my thing. Get out of my yard.
Yeah.
I saw Danny Baker in the chat.
Yeah.
I saw Danny Baker in the chat. I saw on Facebook he had a pole spear fishing rig this weekend. He's trying something new.
I missed that.
What's that for, like flounder?
I thought it was called pole spear fishing. I don't know. It looked pretty cool. He was shooting out of
the pole spear, so there's no gun involved. It's just the spear with the big rubber band thing. You pull it up your arm and you
a Hawaiian sling.
It's supposed to be a lot more difficult than spear
fishing. I hate those things. I can't stand those things. I got to have the gun. They're small. Like what if you come up across, like a decent sized fish? Like, it's never once happened to me, so I'm not going to say. I'm just saying, like, what if that once in a lifetime opportunity came up where you have, like, what would be like a state water legal amberjack come swimming up to you out at the Port Aransas jetty, and you got a Hawaiian sling? You're going to poke 3 holes in him. He's going to swim off. I want that spear. I want it to go through him. He needs to drag me around the rocks for a minute, but I'm going to get him up there.
You want the gun, you don't want the bow. That's is what you're saying, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Henry says he didn't get into fishing till high school. Didn't really start hunting until after he graduated. I was 19 when I got my first bow. How about you, Jared?
I would say I didn't get into a little bit later too, but I would probably say 14-ish, somewhere around there. You know, my outdoor influences were my dad, my grandpa, like a lot of people, but they were bigger into the trapping side than they were anything hunting related. They love fishing and love trapping. You know, on the hunting side, they love more small game stuff like squirrel, rabbit, stuff like that. But some of my first outdoor memories were checking trap lines with my dad and grandpa, and that's how I kind of got my start. But from a deer hunting, bow hunting standpoint, it was a little more self-taught and just kind of learn by doing it more than anything. So I think I got my first bow around the age of 14, give or take a year.
Gotcha.
That's a good question for him. If you look at Henry on the chat,
Yes,
he's
sir.
asking you, Jared. Well, there you go. You can read it for yourself.
I'll read it here for you for the video thing here. Henry Mosley says, question for Jared: while producing for Midwest Whitetail, what different tasks did that entail? Also, what prior training did you have before getting into filming and producing?
Very good question. So it obviously evolved over the years, but I'll kind of start like when I first got into it. It's kind of funny. I mentioned going up to Bill's house for that first internship interview. I didn't even know what a video editing program looked like. Barely knew how to turn a camera on at that point. So I had nothing, but you know, I would go to the office every day, work, and I'd go home and I'd watch tutorials all night long. Basically just teaching myself how to film, how to edit, just get really good at that type of stuff. So early on, my responsibilities, you know, were filming and editing pretty much. As it progressed into more the management of Midwest Whitetail, obviously there was almost like any other business. You have your hands into everything. And I actually haven't even done that much production over the past 4 or 5 years. I've been more or less managing the guys doing the editing, the bulk of the editing. And I was more doing the admin, the business side, trying to grow the business. So it obviously evolved, but you know, I think when people ask me about the training stuff, I don't think as a creative, as a videographer, I don't think it's the technical side that's the biggest hurdle. I think you can teach almost anyone the technical side of it. It's the creative side that you can't really teach, that has to just kind of be developed on your own. You know, that's what sets the best producers apart from the rest, is just that creative ability. It's not just something that you either have or don't. It can be developed. It's just a very hard thing to teach. So you just gotta be willing to want it. You gotta be willing to, you know, kind of look at things differently and try different things from a filming standpoint. And that's kind of how you develop that creativity.
When you were talking about managing editors, how many folks are you talking about are actually involved in shooting? And I looked at the web page and the YouTube channel, and it's just amazing the number of videos out. So how many people are actually in there editing film like that?
Yeah, like what's your crew, the size of the group you work with?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, the last few years we've been producing between 400 or 500 videos a year. So it's been like a ton of videos.
That's sweat labor.
Yeah, we had Midwest Whitetail had a very large pro staff of guys, you know, guys spread out all across the country, around 130 guys that were filming exclusively for Midwest Whitetail. So they're out filming their hunts all across the country, sending us the footage, and we're putting it together back here. I think the most people I was ever managing as far as employees, and I'm including, we have a number of interns that come and work for us every fall too. So it'd usually be around 9 or 10 people total that were editing the videos.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a lot of work. I think I say the biggest grind is the month of November, because we're also trying to hunt morning and evening. And, you know, our guys stay up, because a lot of times we're turning these videos around on a daily basis. So we get home from a hunt, our editors go right to the computer, start putting that together 1, 2 in the morning, or they're uploading it and they're getting up at 4 to go back to the tree stand. You know, it's crazy, the grind, but it's such a good experience. The internship program has developed a really good reputation because of that. You know, guys learn skills that they didn't even think they would, you know, coming into it. You know, they think they're just coming to film and edit, but, you know, time management and work ethic and all that type of stuff, the intangibles, you know, they really develop that, and they're in a good position to go work for a lot of companies post the internship. So a lot of work, but it's you at least get to spend a lot of time in the field too.
I got a question for you here. We've got another one in the chat. I'm going to get that one in just a second, Henry, but I'm going to put you on the back burner for a second, putting you back there. I know you're excited, but I'm sorry. I've got an important question that I need some insight and some advice on. So I do saltwater fishing is primarily my thing. And mainly because filming hunting, especially like if you're a solo guy, is so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to assume that you've done some hunts where you filmed yourself, or maybe it's been you and one other person, something like that. What are the tips? What are the tricks that I need to know as somebody who is not an exceptional hunter? Is like, I fake it well at filming, but I do it all with a phone. So I'm not even going to say that I'm that good at it. What do I need to know if I'm going to go out and I'm going to hunt? I want to make this work, put on camera. Like, for anybody who's new out there, what do they need to know if they're going to make this happen?
Yeah, so I used to do a ton of self-filming. I almost did it exclusively. And then I got in a period where I almost had a cameraman all the time. And now, you know, this year I've been self-filming again. But the first thing I tell people when I get asked that question is decide what you're doing it for. Are you doing it just to be able to have it and show family and friends? Or are you trying to produce it at a quality level? Because that's going to really dictate the amount of discipline you have to have as a cameraman hunter. So to me, the biggest thing, you know, when people compliment me on the self-filming or whatever, it's more or less the discipline. Like, I have to be willing to let a deer pass, let a deer get by me because the footage wasn't there, or that he didn't stop for the camera for me to let go and draw my bow, because I wanted quality footage. I didn't want to zoom out and you have a little ant of a deer coming across the screen that shoot at me, runs away. Like, I want the quality. So I can't tell you how many deer I've lost over the years because of that, because of the camera and the footage not being there. So that's the first thing I would recommend anyone decide. If you're looking to get into it, decide what level you're trying to produce and how much discipline you need to have. If you're just wanting something just to go home and, you know, whatever, show your kids, show your dad, show whatever, and you don't really care that much, it's a little bit different game. And you know, you're just at that point, you're just capturing what you can in the tree. But other guys, you know, maybe they're trying to get into the industry or whatever. You got to have some serious discipline. So that's one of the biggest things. And then from there, once you make a commitment to that, it's you know, I feel like I should do a film school or something on this, because there's so much that goes into it. Just like the placement of your camera arm, where your bow's at from the accessibility standpoint, having a second angle in the tree that captures everything, you know, going on while you're focused on the main camera. There's just so much, how to efficiently pack your bag, because when you start carrying all the camera stuff, it becomes a different sport. Like, it's there's a lot to it. So yeah, that's, I guess, in a nutshell how I'd answer your question. But of course, I could spend hours or days on that topic.
I think Grant, our resident hunter, we've harassed him about filming more hunts, and I think that's kind of been your drawback to taking a camera out there, Grant, is you don't want to miss that deer, so the camera kind of gets in the way of the hunt, right?
Yeah, he doesn't let the camera get in the way of the wall behind him there.
Yeah, and I don't blame him at all. There's something to that.
It's bad enough trying to set the hook and hit record at the same time. Better yet, trying to hit record and pull your bow back at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
Understood. Henry had a good question up there, Stanley.
I know, he's waiting on it. He's being patient. All right, Henry, here you go. Henry says, and this kind of piggybacks on what I was saying too. Now that you're doing things by yourself, are you editing your own videos, or do you have a crew that works with you? How are you doing that going forward?
So I've just been I've been back in the editing bay so far this year. Just been putting together my own stuff, and I do enjoy the editing side. To me, it goes hand in hand with the filming, especially if you're filming your own hunts. You know the sequence of events, what all you captured, and so it makes sense to edit your own stuff. So yeah, right now I'm editing my own. I don't know if I'll do that, for a long time or not. But right now I enjoy putting it together just because I was the one that filmed it all. So it kind of rounds out the whole project, in my opinion.
I've got to say, yours is the first YouTube channel I've looked at that has, I think you have 3 videos on there and over 7,000 subscribers.
Well, yeah.
I know where it comes from, but we just look at it. 3 videos, 7,000 subscribers. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Well, you can ask Stanley. About 5 days ago, I had about 300 subscribers. It's grown like crazy over the past 5 days.
That's awesome.
For one video, I'm gonna hold this. I'm gonna hold this for a while. We'll see how my channel goes. But for one video, I was beating him. And then he posted that first video, and it all went to hell after that.
Yeah,
that's not the first time that's happened. I've been passed up many, many times by people that I'm very proud to say they passed me up. Still waiting on my turn. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it was an interesting experiment for me because the YouTube algorithm, as you guys know, it's kind of a different beast, and you just don't always know. It seems to be always evolving, and it was an experiment from the standpoint of like, what can a channel with basically no subscribers do to catch those recommendations, and you're basing 100% on your success of the recommended videos basically, and not your subscribers watching anything, because I basically didn't have any subscribers. So it was very interesting to see how it took off, where some of the traffic sources came from, and it was definitely eye-opening for me.
That's cool.
So yeah.
Yeah, well, you did it right. Keep doing what you're doing. And everybody here, like, I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to be watching close to see what you're doing, to see what I need to implement and what I've been doing wrong this whole time. Another question from Pickle Outdoors. He says, sorry if this is answered, was chilling with kids. What camera is a good starter camera for an amateur? Ooh, I'd like to have a conversation about this because I've got words to say. But go ahead. I'll let you start.
Well, I'm interested to hear what you have too, but it's a tough question. Though obviously I get asked 100 times that one too, but my question back is always, what's your budget? Because there's so many different options depending on what you want to spend. You want to spend under 1,000, under 2,000, or 3,000. What's your budget? One series, the camera I started self-filming with was the Canon G10. That was, like I said, back in probably 2012, 2013, and that series is still out there today. Very user-friendly cameras that shoot good footage. I think they're up to like the Canon G60 now, but that would be a good series to look at, the Canon Vixia G series. I'm currently using almost an upgraded version of that series, the Canon XF400. It's probably a $2,500 camera, but it shoots 4K, 60 frames per second, all that stuff. It is nice if you're going to try to put your hunts together and you're self-filming. It's nice to have a 4K camera because it gives you some room to scale up in post-production. If you're putting out 1080 HD videos on YouTube, you're going to be able to scale up that 4K footage, and that's going to, what I was saying earlier, as far as staying zoomed out on the deer to give you more room to work with and keep them in the frame, staying zoomed out. And then on the editing side, you can scale up if you're using 4K footage. Kind of a nice little thing to keep in mind as you get into potentially filming. But yeah, tons of camera options out there. And for any of this stuff, you guys are more than welcome to reach out directly to me, and we can have that conversation about budget and options and accessories I'd recommend and all that type of stuff. I enjoy helping people get into it because I'm a big believer in filming hunts. I love having everything documented to relive. So I'm all for helping people get into it.
I appreciate that. That's really generous, being able to, approach somebody and have a conversation like that. You don't, generally find people who want to do that. So thank you for that.
Yeah, for sure. What would you recommend? Did you have
Cinema Red?
Yeah, good start.
No, I'm kidding. Cell phone, man. I've done my entire channel for 5 years on a cell phone, and I'm a big proponent of it. I think you can get to the point, but like, I'm not going to say that, if I had the ability to go to Cinema Red, I wouldn't. Obviously I would.
Yeah.
But you can do it with a cell phone would make a perfectly fine starter camera.
Yeah. So I think it really depends on the activity. Fishing, and everything, you're more or less in the open. Where you get into trouble with cameras with like autofocus and stuff in the woods, is you're going to get your camera focusing on trees or brush or something like that instead of the animal itself. Just in the hunting world, you just have way more obstacles for an auto camera to get messed up. The cell phone could work. I've seen people do it, especially if you're hunting over an open field or something like that, but it may not be the best option for all the situations in the hunting world.
Never thought of that. What about no GoPros, huh? You don't use GoPros at all?
I do. GoPro is a big part of what I do when I'm self-filming. So I use a GoPro as a second angle, and I just recently bought the new GoPro Hero 11, and I was using it on that most recent hunt we've been talking about, and it saved me. The new one that comes with the cold weather batteries. One of the biggest problems with GoPro historically has been battery life in the cold weather. You'll turn it on, it'll stay on for 3 seconds and turn off, and you didn't even know it, because you can't just monitor it the whole time when you're busy trying to be the hunter. But these cold weather batteries made a huge difference, and having that second angle really made that hunt for me. It was able to capture a lot of things, deer coming from this direction while I'm filming a buck this way, and being able to see what I'm doing in the tree while a deer's coming in, or if the deer gets out of frame, you can cut to that second angle. So GoPros are awesome. I mean, the technology they have, especially with stabilization and all that these days, is pretty dang sweet. But my biggest recommendation as a hunter, if you're in cold weather, is to opt for those new cold weather batteries.
Huh, I hadn't even heard of those yet. We have the same thing with heat. Down here, you're out on the boat and the sun's shining on them, and that'll kill the batteries really quick too.
Yeah. These new ones, they're white. I don't think I have one here on my desk. I think they're called the Enduro batteries. But yeah, they're a game changer when it comes to hunting in cold weather and being able to keep that second angle rolling.
Yeah,
I'm so backwoods. My solution, I just recently upgraded to having a GoPro as a second camera, a peripheral camera for what I do. I had cheaper cameras in the past, but I just this summer did GoPro. I lost it after 3 fishing trips. And I had like 5 batteries just to cycle through for the entire trip, because the heat just destroys them. I guess the cold was the same way.
Yeah, the cold. Historically, the GoPros they just gave you no notice. It wasn't like you get to see the battery. They just shut off in mid-recording. A few seconds into recording. Man, I can't tell you how frustrating that was, but hopefully have it fixed for now.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of batteries, that was a question I had for you. What kind of trail cameras do you run?
So I'm a big fan. I've run the Cuddyback brand for a long time. One of the coolest technologies that they have that I don't know that anyone else has, maybe one other company, but it's called Cuddy Link. And everyone knows of cellular cameras, but the Cuddy Link system can be operated non-cellular. And so essentially, let's say you have a property. One of the biggest things in deer hunting is minimizing intrusion. You don't want to be going in there checking your cameras all the time. But you can set this up to where these cameras communicate to each other and send all the pictures to one camera. So you could have one camera that's easy to access by the road, whatever. You pull the one SD card out of that one, it's got the pictures from all the other ones connected via the property. So I've been using that for a few years, basically since they came out with that, and I'm a big fan of that, being able to check cameras and know what's going on without disturbing the property, pushing deer around. A lot of the properties I hunt aren't very big, so you're likely gonna push them over to your neighbors or whatever if you bump them. So that's been a game changer. Really cool technology. I do run some of the cellular cameras. I'm not a huge fan of them. I don't go crazy on them, but I do use them on some of the properties that are further away, or maybe I have trespassing issues or whatever like that. Just saw Henry's question. There's no data plan for the cutty link, the non-cellular cutty link that I was talking about. They're just normal trail cameras that talk to each other. You don't have to pay for a data plan.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And you can also, if you wanted to, you can so the home camera is the one that gets all the pictures. You can make that home camera, you can use a cellular camera for that. So then you're getting all the pictures. You're paying for one cell plan, but you're getting all the pictures sent to you from all the cameras. So if you have a property that's a couple hours away, you don't want to make the drive, you can get them sent to your email or your phone or whatever if you wanted to.
Right. Yeah, I work with a couple guys. One's got muddies, one's got Moultries. I know one sends, they're both cellular. One sends pictures, one sends video, and we'll be sitting there at work and be like, "Oh, this deer's right in front of my deer stand right now."
Yeah, it's amazing. It is a cool technology. It's amazing how normal it's become in the hunting industry. Like I said, I still run a lot of just old school cameras. You pull the cards because I enjoy that. I enjoy going and pull the cards and not knowing too. But it's funny, like we'll have a good weather day, a good cold front come through, and I'll get all kinds of text messages from buddies like, "Are your deer moving? Are they moving?" I'm like, I don't know. But it's become so normal. So many are used to that real time information. It's a very interesting topic. There's a lot of states right now that are banning the use of cellular cameras too, and I think I think more and more states are going to keep jumping on that train. So it'll be interesting to see where it all goes. I'm kind of in the middle. I think they're really cool, and that there's no doubt they changed the game when it comes to hunting. I talked about earlier how much luck is involved in killing big deer. Well, there's slightly less luck when you're using the cell cams for sure. But
Henry was curious, how far can they be from each other?
So there's not a set distance. It very much depends on terrain, the thickness of the cover, all that type of stuff. But I've got each camera. I don't know. A lot of times you can at least get 400 yards, 500 yards, something like that between cameras. And what's cool too is they can daisy chain, so they don't all have to be connected to the home camera. They can, like if you have one way in the back and there's one in the middle, and then you have the home camera in the front, that back one will send pictures to the middle camera, which will then send it to the home camera. So they'll nice. Daisy chain as well. They don't all have to be within range of the home camera.
Very cool.
So you're saying we need 50?
I'm saying I should probably be a rep or something. And make
you need a solid affiliate link on that one.
No, they're a great company. They're actually up in Wisconsin. I know you were talking about Wisconsin earlier, but good guys, good brand, good company, and a pretty cool product.
Yeah, speaking of Wisconsin, playing hooky sport fishing. Good to see you, Dave.
And Dad, appreciate you coming and hanging out with us tonight.
Mark J, our resident trapper, is in the house.
Mark J, cheers, guys.
I tell you what. All right, we're at the 40-minute mark. Gentlemen, how would y'all feel about taking a minute to take a look at some photos from the Discord server?
Pictures of
we have
the week.
had. So what we do every week is we have a Discord server, and all these gentlemen on the side over here, basically we all kind of hang out, and that's where we share photos and tips and tactics and everything, conversations, everything else. A little social area like that, along with the Facebook page and some of that other stuff. And for anybody who's interested, links are in the description of the video down below. Come and join us. So what we do is we collect everybody's photographs from the weekend and all week long, all the hunting and fishing, everything that they've been doing. And then we take a look at it and we see who's got the best pictures of the week. So let me pull that up and let's see who's got the best pictures of the week for this week. I We should probably have like a music thing for that intro.
Right.
Starting off, he was in the chat here just a minute ago. Wild Japan's got a cool little sunset shot, and he went to this restaurant. He's in Japan. He's an expat over there, and he's doing a little bit of a YouTube channel about hiking and just kind of adventuring over where he's at. He went to a restaurant where you get to fish in the restaurant and then eat what you catch. And that's him. Like, I don't know if they served it to him like that, but that's him doing that.
That's awesome.
Curious for anybody who knows, because I don't. But PT brought up this picture. What is that? Is that a chain pickerel?
Yeah, that's a micro pike, I think.
Micro pike. They said the coloration was off, and they weren't exactly sure what they had.
Yeah, some type of pike, something in that family again.
Yeah. I wasn't sure, but you know, it's not my style. But I was curious. I thought it was a pretty picture too, so I figured we'd go ahead and throw it up here. Next up, we have Damon with Black Warrior Lures. Got himself a nice little picture out there on the outside. Holy got himself, that is his personal best black bullhead catfish. Sunfish King got himself, and he was doing a little fly fishing, got himself a trout. Dead Squirrel got a nice 6-pound bass.
Yeah, that is a nice bass.
80 Deadman had a whole bunch of pictures. He's got a good bass there. Pug Attack with their very first, I can't see because that picture, that thing is in front of it. I believe it was their very first pike. It might have been a pickerel. I can't tell the difference.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
But that was their very first one that they ever got. So pretty excited. Had to put that up there, of course. And then the Based Slav. I just love that picture. I don't even like. If I ever do a punk rock album, that's going to be the cover of my album. Is that gentleman's picture right there?
I was thinking the same thing. Holding it by his tail with a cigarette.
With the cigarette and just like, and I think he left the comment. It's just like, that's a fish, isn't it? And that's all he said. So a lot of good fish going around.
On the side of the road.
Yeah, right. Like on the curb.
Oh, food.
Hey, we're getting close to dinner time. I know people are getting hungry, so we had to go ahead and people have been posting some really good food pictures in there. I had to go ahead and throw it in. We've got Pickle is in the chat over here. We'll be talking about him in just a moment. Got himself some baked salmon, Sunfish King, some fried cod. Pickle's got some pheasant down there. Wild Japan with Yuza tea. I just thought that looked awesome, of course. And then we've got Lima Charlie Fishing with pan-fried redfish and a shrimp sauce.
Nice. Dang.
Yeah,
Man, that looks
so
good.
it's time for everybody to start getting a little bit hungry here.
Yep.
And then we have our hunting picks. SV with a beautiful shot of their buck. Henry Mosley's out there. He's scouting the land. He's tearing it up. He didn't get a buck on camera this week, but he's enjoying himself. He's always having a good time. And, of course, anybody who knows his YouTube channel, he's doing that amazing vlog where he's going through the entire process of what he's doing public hunts in the Tennessee area. So he's kind of recording his entire adventure with that. Pickle Outdoors went on a pheasant hunt and did amazing. And, of course, that's a gorgeous shot.
That's a beautiful picture, too.
Yeah, it is. Which brings us to our photograph of the week. Everybody in the chat, you ready? I'm going to clear the board. I'm going to start doing counts here. As soon as we flip over the next screen, everybody put in the chat. Let us know who is going to be the winner of the photographer of the week. That person gets the coveted pro staff role and access to additional features, roles, and portions of the Discord server, as well as the photographer of the week role, so that you can show off and be on top of the leaderboard and everything else. And whenever you're ready, do it. What have you got? We have Pickle Outdoors with his pheasant, Pug Attack's first chain pickerel or pike. I'm not sure. They're forced another one. I think it's a pickerel. And then SV with a beautiful buck.
That is a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Or just the picture itself, it's Pickle. But a young man with his buck, I mean, golly, it's hard to not vote for that. So, had to do it. Had to vote for the young man.
I'm like typing here. I am not, I don't have like a pro setup on this. All right, so far, what do we got? We've
A lot
got
of C's.
CBAC. So C.
CCCCC.
ACB. Come on, Chris. Why are you doing that to me? Chris is just mad because his family always wins photo contests for him, and he's not winning one.
Yeah, that pheasant photo is pretty sweet.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I'm voting on Pickle on that one. I think it's a gorgeous shot. Nothing against SV. That is a heck of a buck, but it's bigger than anything I've got this year, and I'm not voting for that. It's not fair.
No, I had to vote for SV. I had to vote for the young man out there getting a deer. Besides, Pickle's won multiple times, right?
That's true. Pickle won back to back. He's one of our 2 back-to-back winners that we've had.
But it's still a beautiful picture. That's why it was hard to decide that one.
True. Girl in the yellow raincoat. Appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. Thank you so much. Henry Mosley says, by the way, Stanley, there will be a buck on camera next week. Nice, man. Congratulations. I want plenty of pics on that. I'm excited to see that video. You've been working hard for it.
Congrats.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think we have a runaway on this one. SV is taking it. Hey, Sean, appreciate that, man. That's my brother-in-law up in Wisconsin. It might be my brother-in-law. It might be my nephews like to sneak onto their account and leave comments on my YouTube videos. And Sean, you guys, if you're watching this, I want you to know it absolutely makes my day every time that happens. When I get a comment from Megan Kesey that says, I like this video, and it's like the 5th time you've said that you like this video. It makes my day. I love it. All right, that's it. SV ran away with it. SV is our photographer of the week. Congratulations. We'll make the announcement in the server. Thank you so much. And for anybody who wants to get in on this, like I said, links are in the description down below. Come on and join us. Have some fun. And thank you to everybody who contributed on this. We appreciate it, guys. You guys do a fantastic job. It's nice when I'm not able to get out and do anything. I enjoy getting to live vicariously through everybody else's photographs, especially when I can't get myself a buck to save my life.
Right. Same here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Some great pictures, and definitely the fastest we've ever gone through the pictures of the week.
Right. I'm expecting not next week. Well, maybe next week. I'm expecting it to be rough because I know everybody's going to be out with Thanksgiving break. They're all going to be out there doing stuff. Better be. I mean, that's kind of the point of everything we're doing here. Get outside.
I'll submit a picture of boat wires or something. That's all you get is because I've been working on the boat. I'm still working on the boat, and for the foreseeable future, I'll be working on the boat. So I might get out and do a little trout hunting sometime in the next couple, like within the next month or so. I don't know yet. A little bit of trout fishing.
I took your, I was picking your brain about it last week. I went over to a Corpus Christi lake and ended up doing some fishing over there a couple days ago. First time in ever, which is weird because I'm like 30 minutes
Go
away.
online and look at they've got the dates that they're going to be putting the trout in all the different locations. It's online now.
Nope, but I'm going to look that up, and you're absolutely right. I was kind of scouting it last week. I was just kind of getting ready for it. So on that note, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, everybody here now, here's the part. This is like probably the single most important part of everything that we do here. It's accountability time. What are you going to be doing this weekend? What are we going to hold you to? Like, you need to get outside. You need to go enjoy the great outdoors, go hunting, go fishing, go do something, go on a hike. It doesn't matter. Get some pictures, do whatever you're doing. But right now, we want to know, what is it that you're going to be doing over the course of this weekend so that we have something we can talk about next weekend? While you guys are talking about that in the chat, let's start with the guys on panel. Grant, what do you got for us coming up in the next week, man?
I agree with Dylan. Pickle Outdoors. Yeah, we'll have the Orange Army out this weekend for shotgun season, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I don't know. So our duck season, waterfowl season, doesn't come in until December 3rd. The South Central Zone, which is, I don't know, hour and a half north of me, they came in this past weekend. I'm trying to find somebody that wants to take the 2-hour drive, hour and a half drive to go shoot at some ducks this weekend. We'll see.
That'd be cool. That'd
Yeah,
be
good
really
luck
cool.
on that. I want to see some duck pics, man. I want to see it. John, what do you got coming up this weekend, man? Other than I don't want to hear the boat. That counts. You're getting outside, working on the boat, and I respect that because as soon as that boat's ready to go, I'm going to be the very first person begging you to let me on it. But what if you got to be cooking or something? The weather's just too nice not to be grilling.
Boat. No, we do have a little shindig. Some family friends are doing a surprise birthday party for their father, and they live up near the river, near the Guadalupe. So we'll go up there and hang out. That's Shay and Sarah. So you guys know Shay, been on my fishing videos with me, and he's the one that came down and helped me work on the boat, I think the weekend before last. So we'll go hang out with them. That's one day. And then the other two, I got Friday off too. So the Friday and Sunday, boat. That's it.
Like I said, I cannot argue with that. I'm actually catching myself off guard with this one. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I made it out to the lake last week. I might get out and do a little bit of hunting, but if I do, it's probably going to be rabbits. I'll see if I can't convince somebody to let me out on their land and try to get some deer. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go do something. I'm going to get outside. I want to get out in some fresh air. Mr. Mills,
Awesome.
What have you got coming up in the next week that we can look forward to? And what have you got coming up on the channel that we can look forward to?
So I will definitely be in the woods, in the tree stand somewhere. I actually killed another buck. So you guys, we're talking about the one video. I killed another buck 2 days ago. So another really cool hunt that I'll be posting at some point as soon as I get it put together. But now that I'm tagged out here in Iowa, the cameraman requests are stacking up. So I'll be filming some buddies from here on out for the foreseeable future. May try to make a trip to southern Minnesota to do a hunt sometime after Thanksgiving, but pretty much almost every day here I'll be filming buddies deer hunting. It's still a really good time of year. Mid-November, late November is a really good time frame here in Iowa. So I'll be in the woods pretty much nonstop.
I feel like such an idiot. Anybody in South Texas, we've had this conversation many times. It is so difficult to find some place to go hunting, to get out on land. We know that it's all like ranch land down here. It's really difficult to get in on. And I never thought about this. If there is anybody watching this now, if there's anybody who has some hunting that they're going to do, if you're watching this after the fact, and if you are, I assume you've hit that subscribe button. If you have not, you should probably do that right now. And thank you so much for joining us. But if you are watching this now and you have some land down here that you're hunting and you're like, man, I really wish that I had a camera person to come down and film me, send me an email. I never thought about doing that. I'm all about it. I will get out there. I was talking about doing it with my my nephews. I love whenever I can film for my nephews up in Wisconsin. My daughter, my nieces, in my brother's daughters. Anytime I can film them is so fun. The what they do is so pure. Like there's so much joy there. I get a lot of enjoyment out of capturing that on camera so that we can watch it again later in the future. Like I said, all the comments that I get from my nephews on YouTube videos, I love that to death. And if I can help somebody else with that experience, I'm doing this for, like, I'm talking about hunting because obviously I want to get myself in on some venison, but I'll also extend that out to fishing trips as well. Like I'm not, well, I'm going to throw I just enjoy fish and I love venison. So if that's something you're interested in, I'm not even talking about like, I'm not saying you got to pay me or nothing. I'm saying I've got a camera and I'm more than happy to get out there and get some stuff filmed for you. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
So what are people doing in the chat?
Let's take a look. We did have a lot of people. We've got Scully Nation Outdoors. He's going to be working on doing some pompano. I'm all about that. I don't know what the weather looks like, but I'm not done with pompano yet. I want to get out there and get some myself. I have like 3 videos that I have to edit, and I'm dragging my feet because I keep getting out and like doing things. I really need to do that, but I want to get out and get some pompano. Henry is going to be out hunting tomorrow, hunting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at his Peak Rut in Tennessee, and he's tearing it up. Keep doing what you're doing, Henry. You're doing it right, man. You're going to get yourself something. And that series is going to be in something really special.
Doug says he's got snow flying in southeast Wisconsin, so he's got to winterize the boat. Us down here in South Texas, we kind of winter. What is this winterizing? We fish out of the boat all year. We don't have to. That's one benefit of being down here is we don't winterize. Now, if we get it's going to be freezing weather. It's going to get below 32. Okay, trim the motor all the way down. Make sure the water's drained out of it. And drive on. We're going fishing the next day. It'll be 70.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, you're going fishing the next day, and you're not going to. It's not going to be a sweat fest.
Exactly.
Yeah, my version of winterizing the boat is getting it ready for duck season, taking the foot control trolling motor off and putting the duck blind on it.
There you go.
Yeah. Wild Japan says no big plans. Probably a bike ride and hiking. Might start a batch of ginger beer. I want pictures and all kinds of stuff on that. That sounds awesome. That's one thing we don't have enough of is people like brewing their own stuff around here, or at least we don't talk about it too much.
Do you get into any other hunting, Jared, besides deer hunting?
Pretty much deer and turkey. You know, I've been invited to waterfowl hunt a lot, but just haven't done it yet. You know, I want to at some point, but overlapping seasons makes it tough. It's I have a hard time getting pulled away from the deer woods for the most part. But yeah, I turkey hunt in the spring and deer hunt in the fall, and that's pretty much. I've really taken on a lot of like land management stuff. I enjoy that process from a hunting standpoint, probably more than the killing itself. I enjoy the work that goes into the land and all that type of stuff. So pretty much my off season is full of that.
I look at this. See, this is what drives me up a wall. And so I've been talking to people in the area or down here, you know, friends, anybody who has any kind of land at all. Like I literally tell them I will go out there and like take pigs off your land. Another conversation we have a lot, and everybody all of a sudden they clam up. They don't want you out on their land, even if you're, you know, trying to help them. Understand? I get it. Like there's money involved with that. But then the second I talk about this, I've got, look at this. I've got Henry up in Tennessee saying I'd come hunt the farm with them, and he'll film me. I've never had anyone offer that. That's a wonderful offer. Pickle is saying, hey, let's go hunt up in Maine. He's saying like let's get a group together and go do that. Why is it so hard down here in Texas? We have so much more land than Maine does. Why does everybody got to be so difficult down here? Thank you guys. I do appreciate it.
Very expensive lease.
Yeah, you're right about that.
The problem with Iowa is it's so hard to draw a tag. Like as a non-resident, it's going to be 5 years of applying before you could even draw a tag. So that's the hard part about coming to Iowa to hunt.
That's the thing. In Texas, you just go buy your license. And depending on what county you're in, you can shoot multiple deer. But you got to have a place to do it, and that's the hard part in Texas.
Hey, that having been said, if we're getting some things together in order to facilitate this, but if you are ever interested in coming down and getting some nilgai, we could talk. We could have that conversation.
Yeah, I'd love to make it down there for something. It's
redfish. We can do redfish and nilgai probably in the same weekend.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be a lot of fun.
So on that note, guys, we are wrapping it up. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat, for coming and hanging out. Thank you for everything that you guys do in the Discord. It's a lot of fun having that community, being able to hang out. Everybody here is very supportive. It's an amazing community. John, Grant, very much appreciate you guys. Mr. Mills, I cannot thank you enough for coming and hanging out with us tonight, man. This was a lot of fun. If you are ever bored on a Tuesday night and you want to join us, let me know. We can do this again. And if there's ever anything we can do to repay the favor, let me know. I'm more than happy to do that for you.
Man, I appreciate it. Yeah.
You let a camera guy.
Yeah. Well, you let me know when you get some land. I'll come film you. But no,
we'll talk.
I appreciate the invite, guys. This has been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it, and we'll be happy to do it anytime you want. So I appreciate the invite. I've enjoyed it.
Very cool.
Yes, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, very nice to meet you.
All right, guys, get out there this weekend. Go have some fun. I hope it's Thanksgiving break. It's time to go out and do some hunting. Go out and do some fishing. Get outside, do your thing, enjoy yourself. Send some pictures. And we look forward to seeing everything that everybody has to say next week when we all get to brag about the amazing times we had. Until then, have a wonderful week, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Good night, guys.
Peace out.